of mind, let's get back into the video.
Or CV isn't making you more desirable for these positions. If anything, it actually is a red flag because what you're basically
Huh.
communicating without meaning to many of these employers is this person wants to use us as a pit stop while they try and get into what they actually studied for. So their safer option is to hire someone who's actually likely to stick around and stick around for a long time. But there are a lot of
Mm.
people who've stopped putting their degrees on their CVs, and there are also people who've just stopped talking about their degree entirely, just out of sheer embarrassment.
Anyone else out there get a college degree that like didn't translate? It just didn't translate to the real world. You're not working in the field that you studied, and now you just tell no one. I tell no one that I graduated from college because it's kind of embarrassing. The few times where it did come up and I told someone that, they're like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Now, I do also want to make it really clear that the point of this video is not to put anyone off of higher education. The point is more so that I think a lot of the advice that many of us were given from our parents and our teachers or career advisors was very incomplete. Simply having a degree isn't enough these days. And this is a problem that many people are starting to realize, but this is not what was explained to them before they pursued higher education. Many young people don't think properly about the career options that their degree will or won't open for them. They don't really think about what kind of job prospects they're going to have once they finish school. Many career advisors don't even talk to young people about the competition levels for the field of work that they're trying to get into. So many people don't honestly think about this stuff. And who can really blame them? They're literally 18. Because the uncomfortable truth is that getting good grades doesn't automatically mean you'll be successful, and it doesn't automatically mean you're going to get a good job. And something that's really upsetting for many graduates to discover is that these degrees don't substitute for experience.
Getting crushed by capitalism is like so cringe, but it's like it's happening to me. And like I got a PhD from Berkeley and like I can't get a job to save my life. I got a soil biology PhD and now I'm a tutor and a babysitter and a dog sitter. And like part of that is because like I don't want to like move to some random place in the middle of nowhere.
And this right here is an example of what can happen when young people are not given all of the information before they decide what to study. Because what she studied and what she wanted to pursue sounds extremely niche. So I did actually have a look into what she studied and how many jobs are available in that field. And in the whole of the US, there's only 2,000 job applications a year for what she studies. Now compare that to something else like software development, which has something like 160,000 openings a year for jobs in that field. So it is really important for young people to understand just how much is available to them if they study this, because sometimes your job can be so niche that you have to travel somewhere else to do it, and not everybody's actually willing to live or travel out of where they grew up. But these are all things that people just don't consider. They just think, oh, what do I like and what am I interested in? Oh, that's what I'll study, not really thinking about what's going to come next.
I feel so stupid for listening to everyone in my life who said that if you follow your passions, the money will come. Because I got like a whole ass PhD in soil biology because everybody eats, right? Everybody like wears clothes. And I thought that like sustainability was important or whatever. And now like, where are the jobs?
I do think that this is unfortunately messaging that a lot of people have heard, because I even remember hearing this, the people who say things like, oh, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Lies, okay? Most people don't unfortunately make money from pursuing their hobbies or their passions, which is why a lot of people in the end have to sacrifice that and pursue realism and just keep their passions and their hobbies as passion projects that they do in their spare time. And to be honest, I actually think that's often a lot better, because this is also a realization that I also had. My passion is songwriting. Like, I love writing music. I love making songs. That's like something that I really enjoy doing. But there was a point with myself when I had to sit down and I had to ask myself, okay, what is the reality of actually doing this as a living? Like, how realistic is it for me to become a professional songwriter? Because I don't actually know how you become a songwriter. I know how you can become a singer. There's loads of different ways that you can pursue that, but I don't want to be a singer. I don't enjoy performing. I only sing so that you can hear the songs I've written. But in terms of like doing tours and singing, that none of that interests me. I don't have any desire to do that stuff. I just want to write songs and like give them to people. But I have no idea how to even get into that. So like how realistic is it for me to do that? So I kind of just like put songwriting to the side and music to the side, and it just became something I just did for fun. But now as an adult, I'm able to reflect on that and say I'm actually quite happy that songwriting is not my profession, because now I get to enjoy it personally. I get to enjoy it as a passion and as a hobby without deadlines, without financial pressure, without expectations, without any of the obligations that come with it being a job. And so I actually think sometimes like pursuing what you love and pursuing what you're passionate with sometimes is good advice, but sometimes it's not the best advice, because sometimes things should just be hobbies and they should just be passion projects. Because unfortunately, just because you're passionate about something doesn't necessarily mean you're good at it. Just because you enjoy something doesn't mean other people will, because it is one of those things where the market will always officially be the one that decides, and not everybody values things that you care about or you like.
Can someone explain to me how I have 4 degrees and still can't get a job? BA in communication, BA in Spanish, BFA in dance. Get ready for this one. Master's degree in freaking journalism. Mind you, I've gotten laid off not once, not twice, but 3 times in the span of 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
So if you're feeling
Really?
behind, just know you're not alone.
Now, the comments
Ouch.
on this particular TikTok were quite rough. There were people saying things like, you majored in hobbies, communication, dance, Spanish, and journalism.
Major in
You
hobbies.
qualified to report about the last episode
about
of
right.
Dancing with the Stars on Telemundo. Not much else. Did you search top 10 useless degrees and pick what to
Telemundo.
study from there? I don't know why people still pay to get these degrees. I honestly couldn't cope if I had that many degrees and wasn't using a single one of them. Like, that is, the people who have multiple degrees and still can't get a job in any of the fields, like, those people, wow. Because honestly, just thinking about the amount of time wasted and the amount of debt accumulated is honestly making me feel physically
Yikes.
unwell. And the thing is, when we see some of these people who study
are changing, and if you act right now, you could save 10% of your entire order plus free shipping with Golden Summer 8. We have an interesting collection of bottles, journals, and etc. to not only enlighten your life, but everything else around you. If you act right now, click on the link in the description down below, and you will save your freedom and liberty. Take the golden pill. The revolution is now. We're counting on all of us, the innovators.
to us seem like they're completely useless, and we can't seem to understand why on earth would they choose to study that. But I think it's because we have hindsight. Like, we now know which degrees are good and which degrees are pretty much worthless just based on the outcomes of the people who studied these degrees. But back in the day, when you think about it, journalism, I don't think anyone would have heard that and thought that's a very useless degree. I mean, there are some obvious ones where it's like, babes, what exactly did you think was going to happen with your Lady Gaga studies degree? Because yeah, there was actually a university in the US, I think it was Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, that at one point was offering a Lady Gaga studies degree. So yeah, I do think that there are some degrees that are just clearly quite useless, but there are some that sound useful.
Stop right there. There's a Lady Gaga course over there. I mean, what have we become lately? And I gotta be fairly honest with these questions. I mean, hold on just a second. There we go. Gotta make sure my suit is all ready to go. I got a serious question to ask. Since when did we actually get to the point that we now have a Lady Gaga course? I mean, what are we doing? I mean, seriously, as a society, especially when it's like declining this fast, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't get it. Why are we collapsing so fast? It's literally concerning me right now because I literally can't believe we're actually declining this quickly. It's no joke. We're literally right up there right now at this time. I mean, in my humble opinion, I really do think things are declining so fast to the point that I'm just like, how am I going to keep up with all this? I mean, these are really serious questions. How are we going to keep up with any of this in the future? I mean, I'm not trying to say that we can't do a revolution. I mean, there's a different kind of revolution. There's a government revolution, there's an all-out revolution, and then there's an economic revolution. I mean, there's different types of revolutions that everyone just overlooks all of a sudden. I'm only saying this because I read history as it is. I mean, seriously, especially all the undocumented history, seriously, especially those that we never talk about, like the genocide of Native Americans, for example, and the conquering of the lands. That's literally the full picture of our country, the full picture. All of us are from Europe. The Native Americans, they've been in this land for a very long time. How long? For a long time, like thousands and thousands and thousands and millions of years. They're entitled to live in that land because they've lived there for generations. And you got to respect them for that because they've been there for so long. They've been there for a very long time. And I think, in my humble opinion, they don't deserve the disrespect that they're getting. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve the disrespect. Now, don't get me wrong, they have interesting traditions. Now, am I trying to say that all of them are higher than thou? No, not at all. When in fact, some of their culture included cannibalism, which kind of makes me very grateful that we Europeans decided to actually just conquer when it needs to be conquered. But there are some situations where innocent Native Americans are caught in the crossfires at this point. And what I'm trying to say is that it's a lot more complex than you really think it is. But with the Israel Gaza situation and the Ukraine and Russia situation, it's a completely different story. Very completely different story at this point. Completely different situation. But what I'm trying to say is that you got to look at all sides and literally look at the full picture. As someone that is actually pro Palestine, pro China, pro Russia, pro USA as well, I'll tell you one thing, it's a lot more complex than you really think it is. Way more complex. Especially for someone that used to be a Zio Christian, now empirical Stoic, and a student of history. We really need to look at the full picture and not be blinded with our biases and actually just look at the full story. It's why I had to compare Mexico and Argentina because Mexico is now a leading republic and Argentina is a collapsing nation that wants to expand its empire but can't because they have corrupt government. That is literally the situation that we are facing in the United States right now. We're literally facing it, especially when we turn 250 years old, which is absolutely incredible, which is insanely incredible because I literally have some ideas of products for celebrating America's 250th birthday. I don't know what it looks like, but I do know one thing is that our nation is getting old. And if we don't change our fate soon, we're probably just going to be a nation in decline forever. And that's literally the situation. And Argentina is literally the back door of what our country would look like if it's not vetted properly. It's like dating, for example, and it's like job hunting. You got to vet what you need and what you really need to get. It's literally two completely different stories on what you want and what you need. It's literally two completely different worlds that we are literally facing right now. With that in mind, let's continue watching the video and then I'll comment even further during this 3-part series.
And sound actually like they could open up some great opportunities for people. I do have grace for people who've studied stuff that have turned out to be useless because I do honestly think that it's only because they did that we now know that they're useless. I do really think a big component in a lot of this is just the pure lack of guidance. Because so many young people have no idea just how valuable experience actually is. There are so many people graduating with degrees and still getting rejected because they don't have any experience. And then they're kind of stuck in this hard place of like, okay, but I can't get the experience unless you give me the job. So something that I would say to a lot of students is that if you are going to study your degree, do not rely on that degree. Whatever the hell you can do to also be accumulating experience on top of studying is what you really should be doing in order for you to really prepare yourself to be competitive when you're looking for a job, because you don't want
like this, and you're actually interested in videos like this one that just happened recently, do me a favor, like and share and comment down below and subscribe to this channel right here and right now. With that in mind, I'll see you in the next video, innovator.